Right, it's that time of year again. So we're going to make a pumpkin head. Just a simple one, but it is effective. So what you want first of all, obviously, is your pumpkin. Now this is a good sized pumpkin that I've got here. And the first thing you want to do is decide where you want the face. Now looking at it as I am, this nice bulky area here should be perfect. And the first job is to cut a lid. Now you could quite simply just slice across the top to make your lid, but of course it would just slide off, blow off even in the wind. So you want to cut a bit of a recess, and I like to cut a 45-degree angle all the way around so that the lid comes off and pops back in. And I found that to be the best way to do it. Right, so to do this and to make the lid, we need a circle cutting out on the top here. So I'm going to use this roll of double-sided tape I've got here, which is a circle, and I'm going to go ahead and just mark around the outside just to give me a guide for cutting. Doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if it isn't perfect, because it's easier to locate the lid then in the correct place, if you follow what I mean. Okay, so there we are. You can just see that. Got the nice circle here, and let's go in at a 45-degree angle here, and then we want to start cutting, mind your fingers obviously, but cutting around, following your pencil line. But like I said, it's not crucial. As long as it's near enough, that's good enough. It's not going too bad, actually. These things can be quite tough, as I'm sure you know if you've ever made them in the past. Keep the knife at the 45-degree angle, and then hopefully you'll meet up with where you started. And we're nearly there. Just finish it off here, and there we go. Right, now of course inside we've got all the seeds and all the sloppy stuff, but that's not too bad. So there you go, and as you can see, that will just drop back in there nicely. We're going to trim it up a bit so that we've got more access to the inside, but there we are. That's it. That's how you cut the lid off for your pumpkin head. Right, the next thing we're going to do is take all the sloppy contents and seeds out from inside of the pumpkin to make room to get our candle or lights. So I'm going to put gloves on for this, because it is a sloppy, messy job. And right, so we'll grab this bucket. Now what I also want to do first is to trim this lid, because it doesn't need to be as deep as that. So we'll trim that off. That'll still fit nicely inside there, as you'll see. That still fits nicely in there, as you'll see. And then of course inside the pumpkin we have all this. Now to make a bit more space, what I'm going to do is just trim around inside like this, to give a bit more room to get your hand in for putting in the lights or the candles. Doesn't matter which, obviously. And there we go. So now you can see that there's a little bit more room there now to get your hand in. Just give it a final little tidy up. And that recess that you've left there now will keep your lid in there no matter what the weather. Now these are actually disgusting things inside, I think. They certainly look disgusting, but just gonna start trimming a little bit inwards to help remove some of these old seeds. Well, not old, but the seeds and some of this gunk. And we are literally going to be in there tearing as much of that out as we can, and then we're going to have to get a long spoon or something to start scooping the stuff from the inside. You want to take your time with this because you want this part right. Now let's make a start. Getting rid of some of this gunk from inside. It doesn't come out easily, it does take some tugging. I'm going to have to get some sort of utensil in a moment to actually physically scrape the sides and things to get as much out as possible. You want as much out as possible and have a nice level surface on the bottom of the inside of the pumpkin to be able to stand you, if you use a little tea candle or something, you want to be able to stand it as level as you possibly can. So let's get as many of the seeds out as we can, and then we'll start scraping away at this sloppy, fleshy interior. Right, so I've got this rather deep spoon here. Let me just remove this bracelet, otherwise I think I'm going to be having pumpkin internals all over it. And then what you've got to do is physically go around the inside of the pumpkin and scrape away as much of this stringy flesh type stuff as you can. Now this does take a while, but as I said, it is worth it because you want plenty of room on the inside for your candles or your lights. And once you've got all of this out, as I'll demonstrate in a moment, it's always good to flatten a piece off in the bottom. So you just got to basically just keep scraping and try to remove as much as you can. So I'll carry on and come back to you in a moment. Right, so as you can see, there's quite a lot of slimy rubbish that has to come out. But what I've done is I've taken as much out as is necessary, and I'm not sure if you can see, but I have flattened off a part in the bottom there to put the candle. So there you go, that's it more or less ready, and the lid fits nicely. Just get it in the right position, there you go. So that's it ready for carving now. Right, so it's just a traditional type of pumpkin head, so it's going to have little triangular eyes, little triangular nose, and then a nice big smile, a nice big grin. So how do we do that? Well, again, what I do have one over here that I was just practicing on yesterday because it's been quite a while since I'd done one. So what I want to do is just choose the area for the two eyes. So now the difficult part, because I want it to have a nice big smile, so let's see if we can get that done there in one. Right, okay, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. And then we'll bring it right round the bottom here, like this. Okay, roughly. And take a look at that, yeah, and that will be fine. So now, much as we did with the lid, we'll take the lid off while we do this. Just need to get your knife in, straight through, and a nice cut down there. And then the same on the other side there, nice cut there, and then across the bottom, like so. You should find then that you can push it out. Now again, I'm going to clean that up a bit, just to open it up a bit, to get more light out. So just give it a clean on the inside like that, and like that. There we go, and there we have the first eye. Now let's do the other one. Let's just move it over there slightly, down there, across the bottom, and then down to meet that, and again that should just pop out. Okay, that's not too bad. Clear it in the bottom a little bit like that. Do the same on the sides. like that, just to let a little bit more light out, like that. Right, so there we've got the two eyes. Now the nose. Push your knife into the bottom, like that, and then again, you should be able to pop that out. Just make it slightly bigger. Doesn't need to be too much bigger for the nose. That's it. Pull them out. Like that. Okay, so now you can see it taking shape. Now for the most important cut, the mouth. So let's get the knife in here, and we want to follow that pencil mark. Up there, and then what we'll do is we'll come back in and follow the pencil mark that I'm finding it difficult to see in this light here. And then all the way round and back up, and then we should find that we can pop that out much the same. Okay, so there you can see. What I need to do now is to trim around inside the mouth a bit. Right, so we have our pumpkin and we have the pumpkin top, so that's it, all ready to go. Pretty similar to that one, I think. Alright, I'll get this cleaned up a little bit more and I'll be back with you. And so there we have it. That's the pumpkin I've just done, the large one with his little brother just here. And I'm sure now all we need to do is illuminate them. So let's give it a go. Right, so what I'm going to do is just put these little tea lights inside the pumpkins. And then just get something to light them with. Right, are we ready to turn the lights off? Not yet. I think we're going to have to wait till a bit later on when it's slightly more darker. And there you have it. I think that works pretty well.